worry about it. I have it under control. Bruce
guys-
Willis is in full effect.
You guys ever watch Major League and like Bob Uecker's like, and this show is brought to you by, and he's like looking around, he's like, Christ, I can't find it. The hell with
it. Welcome to Breaking the Mold. As you can see, Jose, our regular host, is not with us today, so I will be hosting.
God help us all.
Trying my best. Yes, I'm sorry, guys.
Great.
I got voted.
You wanted
great.
To
Thanks, Dave. And what do we do now? We want to go through
Introduce us.
Introduce us. Okay, yes. I'll introduce the cast. I'll start out with Brian Brink. What's going on, buddy?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm trying to hold up in here.
Dude,
my host duties are going to be impeccable right
fucking
here.
Introduces me and then talks over me. It's fucking
sorry. I'm the fucking host. So
I'm right now.
Brian, you got to ask, may I interject my introduction?
my introduction.
Are you going to do your interjection or what? Are you going to go to the next guy?
Dude, I'm living life. I'm fucking squirrel free. Guy saying.
Really?
I don't know.
So was it a squirrel or a ghost squirrel?
A ghost squirrel. I don't know. I called 1-800-GHOSTBUSTERS and no one answered. So.
That's too bad.
I thought that was a sex hotline.
Oh.
Nobody was willing to believe you.
No, nobody was willing to answer.
Hey. Yeah. So.
Man, that was mean.
Do you guys want to do what you get this week or?
I got a Tarkin.
Do you? Oh.
Do
nice
you need one?
Tarkin's
Do you need
nice.
one there, Dom?
No, I'm good on Tarkin.
All
I didn't get it for $5, but.
Yeah, I did not get mine for $5.
No, me neither.
So, next on the list is no other than Mr. Dave. Dave, what's going on?
What's up?
Tell the people. Tell the people
how Jose calls everybody by their handle, and the rest of us just say Dom and
what do you use?
Names. Gary.
And John Juice. What are you, Andre?
Yeah, exactly.
Juice? Is that your handle? Okay. No problem. Gotcha. Yeah.
So what's good?
How was your week?
My week's been okay so far. I'm looking forward to this weekend. Seeing you, bunch of fucking mutts. And as far as things I actually haven't gotten anything in, so I have nothing to speak about.
Oh, that's really.
But hopefully next week it'll be better. Yeah.
Is this a new thing for you? Not getting anything in a week? Are we going to keep the trend going? Save some money? Are you giving me the finger, Dave? Are you trying to give me the finger?
Well, you know what it is, Dom. My birthday's next month, so I'm trying not to go too crazy. Hopefully, I drop a few hints around the house, and you know what I'm saying. I don't have to spend my own money, so we'll see.
See how that works. I gotta take notes.
I mean, it's your money anyway, right?
Not really.
Okay.
Dude,
it makes more, so it's all right.
Hey, Dave, I want to appreciate you for dropping that bug in your wife's ear about you wanting a whole bunch of old movie figures, because she sent me some money, and you'll be getting some. So.
Cool. Yo, Dave, I'm gonna get you a Toys R Us gift card. Okay. $100.
Shit. All I had to do was mention it. Look at this.
Well, you can't use it, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Enjoy that card.
That reminds me, I might have a couple of them.
You can use it as a bookmark.
You gotta use them, man. I think it's over.
21st, I thought.
Is it? Oh, okay. You got time.
I'll have to look.
So the next guest that I'm going to introduce is Extra Zero. I'm going to call him by his handle since he's cool.
Hey, yeah. I mean, I got to be the resident edgelord, right?
Yes.
So
and he's gonna help me out with the with all the call outs and shout outs too. So.
Oh, okay. So
I'm gonna be nice to you.
Do we want to get through our introductions? Then
yes.
We'll introduce the show. So I gotta say my usual spiel, TGIT. Thank goodness it's Tuesday. I'm glad to be here.
Thank
all of you fuckers.
Goodness.
I thought it was thank goodness titties. I thought that was.
Well, that's TGIT squared.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's the there's more than one. I had a pretty good week. Anybody that's still in that wow, that's a hell of a tongue tie there. Anybody that's still in the ROC weight loss challenge group, I've been really getting back into fitness lately, trying to drop some motivation, trying to keep everybody going. I've been hitting some fitness goals, and it's just been a really good week, accomplishing a lot of that, and setting out spreadsheets of what I want to achieve and tracking my statistics. So sorry I didn't do that during the challenge, Gary, but
no worries, no worries.
Wait, Jordan, do you want us to say congratulations?
Congratulations on
to you.
To me for what?
Does no one listen to Nerd Rage Radio? All right, never mind.
Oh,
inside joke, I guess.
Oh,
that's public knowledge. Yeah. All right.
Way to run the show, Brian.
Hey,
yeah.
Way to go, buddy.
Hey,
Congratulations.
May I interject my introduction? As for what I got this week, I got this guy, the Generation Toy Gorilla.
Oh.
Batteries not included. Dom's lighting up there. He's good. He doesn't feel up to par with other Generation Toy releases plastic-wise, but he's really fun. Once you get over some of the QC quirks, like mine had these inner leg panels popping off, just a little bit of glue, and same with this antenna here, the left, or I guess it's his right antenna. But I like it a lot, and it's a lot of fun to transform, a lot of fun to flip back and forth, and a really cool display piece. And if you're like Dom and I, and like Optimus Primal, I say he's a definite must-buy. And before I move on, just make sure, if you're listening or watching on YouTube, Kielbasa slam that like button for us. Helps us.
Please do that. Please.
I slammed some kielbasa Sunday night for the first time since the challenge ended.
Ooh, no turkey kielbasa. Straight up kielbasa,
no,
right?
Fucking shit had some fucking pork in there and some beef.
Woo!
Wait a minute.
Stuff. Oh boy. And do all that hard work. All that hard work.
Last meetup, didn't we each have a kielbasa corn dog?
I did not.
No, you skipped it.
Yeah, I didn't have.
Oh shit!
I was in the challenge. I got the willpower, they say. I think
you've got the touch.
Okay, our next humble individual here, since he's my favorite out of all you because he's the best guy. And he has the nicest smile and the hottest body. What's your name again? Oh yeah, Carrie. What's going on? G-Money. What's going on, buddy?
What is going on? Oh, okay. So last Tuesday, very quickly, everyone was having a rough week, here on the panel last week, and I wasn't trying to be an ass, but things were going pretty good. Didn't have too much to complain about. Well, during the show last week, one of my associates back at the store, I'm in the automotive industry, proceeded to take literally the most expensive vehicle on my lot and crash it into an overhead door.
All right.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Go.
Shout out to technology on 2018 Infiniti SUVs with cameras all around the fucking truck, and yet he still couldn't see that the door was down when he was trying to back up. So
shout out to unemployment.
Does he have Allstate?
So that doesn't really count when it's self-insured at that point. But I just thought it was a little bit ironic after all my bragging about having what a great week it is, and it's happy to be here. And, so there's a little karma coming back.
So is there a discount on that car, like an open?
Yeah, actually, and truth be told, the overhead doors are they're like those little slot panels. So it destroyed the door, but the vehicle itself really was fine, to tell you the truth. It was the big, giant SUV, so it was like the top over the rear window that actually took out the door. So the doors are actually not very thick because their speed doors go up and down. But
dude, I want to see Gary. I want to see angry Gary. Like in work.
I do. That's what I want to see him. I want to see him yelling at a coworker.
Dave, right? Have you seen me when I get hungry?
Oh, is it something like that?
I was just gonna say,
he's a Flickers commercial for real.
Flip that over a little bit. But no, it's for collecting wise, it's funny. So I got two things this week. I got a Hot Toys Iron Man, a Mark III. Stealth edition. It's like in this blue metallic. Looks really cool. Kind of looks different on the shelf. It's a mech that I didn't have. But I also got that the Black Series dewback, and that thing's actually really neat. I actually like it quite a bit. And proceeded to break my New Year's resolution about not buying Star Wars Black Series. But it was worth it.
Dude, you fucking held off for a while. That was pretty good.
Yeah, actually, it's the only thing Only one I got, but yeah, it's good.
4 months. It's pretty good, right?
It's better than most. Most of you guys broke your shit like by February 1st.
Uh-huh.
Fuck you, Carrie. Hey,
There you go, Jordan.
Where do you stand on like the Black Series props? Like, do those count?
How so?
Like, so would you consider like that Vader helmet? Because I picked that up during the week. A lot of people in the realm probably saw I posted a little video of how it worked and everything. But would you consider like the Black Series props part of Black Series, or they're
no? I think that kind of stuff to me, I think, is a little bit different. You know, I think it's almost like it's not a line necessarily. I guess. I mean, I don't collect it, but I could see
still
like,
Black Series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess technicality speaking, but I don't know.
Jordan, let me ask you about that helmet.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Does it change your voice at all, or is it just
no?
Just for the look?
It's just it does the breathing. And what's cool about it is when you break it down to just the collar, it does like that exasperated breathing, like when Vader was like, "Let me see you with my own eyes," you know. but what's really cool about it is that because there's no voice modulator in there, the grill, they actually had like a way to engineer the grill so you could breathe really easy, which is important for an all-encompassing helmet. And you can't see your mouth through it. They did a really good job of spending the money wisely. And for $100, it really feels like a $150 piece. I'm not going to lie. That's like the best thing Hasbro's put out in probably a decade.
Do they does it look better in person than it does like on like as pictures? Like I've seen pictures of it straight up, and I don't know if like the camera's too close to it or something, but it looks like one of those old school like prop helmets, like those like kid things.
No, it definitely does not look kiddie in person. I gotta tell you, it looks like I wouldn't say it's like an Innovos piece. And a buddy of mine collects props. His biggest scrutiny of it is that the lenses, aren't amber or red. They went with like that, the kind of like the black. But you can't see your eyes.
Question: does it? I think I've seen somewhere like you can hook up electronics into them. Is that like something like this, or is it just is that?
Well, I
like
mean,
like headphones. Does it have headphones or something?
No, but you can hear very well in it.
Oh, okay.
You could put a fan in there. There's room. Like,
okay, cool.
If you really wanted to, but if you were cosplaying Vader, you would probably be going all out. You'd probably be like, I'm going to buy this this $900 costume and then the $100 Hasbro helmet. You're going to go for like the Innovos, and then
dude, that Innovos shit is expensive. Holy shit!
So you wouldn't be able to wear it and be on the show. Did that not function?
No, I could. I just have to go get it and unbox it.
Hint, hint. Okay, moving on.
Yep.
How you doing, JD?
I'm good. How are we doing, meatbags?
Oh,
it's nice to hear that.
Yes.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, I missed you guys.
So how was your week, JD?
It was all right. It was decent. I got a shit ton of Black Series.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I am curious to see what you do with the stand, Jordan. He said about making the stand for that helmet.
Oh, yeah. So, that one that I showed you the picture of, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, like, at first I was like, it comes with a little stand, but it's a piece of shit. I'm gonna probably try and get to Home Depot in the next few weekends and start putting that together.
Chan picked that up as well with the Darth Vader Force Effects saber.
Ooh!
So I wanna see what you do with that. See, because I'm gonna have to build her one.
Mm-hmm.
If only they had the detachable blades like the Force FX.
Yeah.
Because that could make for an awesome display piece.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you can get it apart, but you got to take the whole thing apart.
I'm sure you're probably pretty well versed with the RPF forums.
No,
replica prop forums. They've got tutorials on how to do it.
Oh, okay. I mean, I doubt she'll go that far, but yeah. I just want to see what you do for the like how you put the stand for the helmet together.
Oh yeah, I'll share it.
I'm curious.
Trade secrets here. Trade secrets.
Yep. But yeah. I'd say my favorite piece
Oh, the two back.
I'm on number 5.
I got yours, Dave. Don't worry, buddy.
It's really cool. Actually, I thought that was a good toy.
I've been feeding it and petting it and making sure it's happy. So don't worry, buddy.
Give it enough sunlight. Make sure it's got.
I'll take it out for a walk tomorrow if you want me to.
JD,
no problem.
Yeah. Are you gonna do like a little Tatooine hillside now with like one of the,
absolutely
nice? You got to have the one with the binoculars, man.
I got it. Yeah, but I got a whole bunch of stuff this week.
And make sure there's some footprints in there.
There will be. Don't you worry.
And a giant comb. A giant comb.
Man, we ain't found shit.
Good movie.
An Afro pick.
I got Chris
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna fucking do that shit. Because I bet one of those picks are scale to the Black Series figures. Don't you guys steal my idea out there, y'all you fucking photographers. I'm gonna do it. It should be fun.
Can't wait. So, Dave, do you have anything for me?
What do we mean? Do I have anything for you?
Does anybody want to ask me how my week went?
How'd your week?
Nobody gives a fuck about you, Dom.
Okay, cool. So we'll move on.
I want to hear.
My week was good. My week was busy, very busy, very, 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 very busy. I was able to pick up a do-back from myself and Dave. So
Dave do-back.
Dave do-back. He said he wanted something that can cut down on his commuter miles, so I told him I'll buy him a do-back.
Oh, shit. Motherfucking short jokes again, right?
Saving some gas.
Miles on the lease.
Yes. And that's about it. So let's go. I guess we can go through the intro where, what episode are we on, guys, here?
16. 16.
Hey, I guessed it.
All right. Sweet 16.
All
Let's
right.
have a party.
All right. Well,
and then Jordan, you go. Go, Jordan.
Yeah, I'll welcome everybody. All right. So yeah, we switched it up this week. Gotta shake it up when Jose's not here. So I gotta welcome everybody to the newest podcast on the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel. Welcome to episode 16, as we've been informed, of Breaking the Mold. We come to you here live on YouTube every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can also find the audio version of the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and through Podcast Addict. And remember to subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, and it really helps us out if you do. And as always, as I said before, if you're watching on YouTube, Kielbasa Slam that like button. If you're watching on YouTube, also remember to subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a thing. And remember to hop into the live chat below, and we'll be shouting everybody out at the end of the chat towards the end of the live stream.
That's it, Dave. That's it, Jordan.
That's
all you get. That's all
I
you
got
get.
it. That's all. That's all.
Awesome. See how you delegate? You delegate. See, I'm management.
We gotta have some ebb and flow here.
I don't do that shit, man. It's below my pay grade.
It's definitely some ebb. All right.
So,
hey, I have an announcement.
Talk about it, Dave.
So, hey, just to we'll probably shout this out again.
What? He's pregnant?
Oh, Jesus. We have a rock meetup occurring this weekend. We actually have two of them. We have one at ToyCon in Parsippany, New Jersey. So if you are in the area, stop by on Saturday. We will be there around 9. Dom will be there around 6.
Yes.
Scoop up all the good shit before we get in.
You get it right off the truck.
Dom, I'm looking for 4-lom. I need a couple 4-loms.
No problem.
A couple, not just one.
We'll be going out for lunch, and also probably doing a little later night shenanigans at Dust Mite's house, I believe. He hasn't said we are, but I guess we are now.
Yeah, fuck that. We're crashing.
And Dave, I just want to let you know that there will be no repeat of the wing eating challenge, at least between you and Bricks, because he is otherwise engaged at Philly Brickfest in Philadelphia, in Oaks, PA. So if you're in the area and you like Lego, go there. Go hang out, man. I went to that thing last year. It's really, really cool.
Did you shit Bricks?
I did not.
Oh.
Well, I think Bricks is shitting Bricks, because he got no shot.
But
That would hurt.
let's see here. We have
Dave buys bricks.
So hey, Dave, if you're willing to put your crown, up for grabs, maybe someone else will reach out and try to.
Nah, my wing eating days are
You're fucking putting up the belt already. Shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to live a different lifestyle, cleaner one. So
He's Rocky
more,
5 in it.
Yeah.
No more fatty foods.
Oh, so what are you gonna?
Really?
So what are you gonna eat? What are you gonna eat? Are you gonna eat the carrot celery salad? That
No, none of
Carrie
that
gets?
shit. None of that shit. But
You gonna get a wrap?
no,
Buffalo Wild Wrap.
But when you get your blood work every 3 months and then you come back and they tell you, dude, you gotta watch what you're eating. Your cholesterol's pretty high, so that's when you know you gotta stop.
Take it from me. Listen to him.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't be like me.
And I also wanted to mention that we also have a rock meetup going on in Michigan this weekend.
Yeah, we did.
It is this Saturday. Check out the Realm of Collectors group because for some reason I can't click on it to open the friggin' post because Facebook sucks. But anyway, Eric B is in the group. He's putting that together. Looks like they're meeting at like a bar-ish, restaurant-ish type place. And so if you're in that area, go check that out in the group and see if you can make it. So it'll be fun to have dueling meetups this weekend.
I like it.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. So, what are we gonna talk about tonight, guys?
I don't know. Yeah, things gotta move. Things gotta evolve. We don't have our host here, so
I see what you did there.
I think change is in the air. I'm your new host, so let's talk about a little bit of
the history.
Dave's already voted me out. I'm
Let
like
the memes
fired.
fly.
I'm fired
Like-
already. Shit.
Like when Dom used to have the football painting, and now it's what is it like?
It's my wedding.
His
my
wedding.
My
Oh,
wedding photo. It's my wedding photo that my wife told me to take my football photo down and put my wedding photo there. Yeah,
Smart
that's
man.
it. That's it. What she says, I do.
There you go,
That's how it
staring at the
goes.
door.
Shut
All
up,
right.
Gary.
So Dom,
What's up?
Dominic, let's get into the topic.
Okay, so the topic is.
I got it.
You got it?
So the topic is, right, for the gist of it, are ever evolving collections. So we can anybody can start off with, something that they started off collecting and maybe tapered off to something on a grander scale, or, take it how you want. How do you consider your collection evolving? Or has evolved?
Yeah, I'd like to start out. Let's level set the playing field here. I'd like to know how many years each of us has been collecting seriously.
Jesus
Okay, so
Christ.
I'm gonna delegate this one. Dave, how many years?
Like, all right, so 2000, I wouldn't say since 2010. So probably about 8 years strong, like
8
back
years?
into collecting. Yeah.
What about you, Jordan? How long?
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah, 1998. That was like that was with Beast Wars. I had to. Well, actually, maybe 21 years because when those Transmetals hit, that was when I had to have them all, and I would any money I could scrounge together, I was just all about getting them.
So you snagged them up at retail stores and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day. Okay. How about you, G Money? How many years?
22 years.
22 years.
1996. And if I had a Magic 8 Ball in 1996, I wouldn't have done this. But look, I played Magic the Gathering, the card game, when it very first came out.
Oh, you were that kid.
I was that kid, and I opened like cards, right? Like anyone who plays the game, like I haven't played since like the late 90s, but cards, the Black Lotus, the gems, very expensive cards now that I don't even want to know what they go for. But I recycled those into the Power of the Force Star Wars when that stuff came out.
Okay.
And I was in college at the time, and that was the only way I could afford that kind of stuff, because I was eating peanut butter and tuna helper all the time.
Tuna helper.
That's what it was, man. It was like,
Well, we won't count those years at Magic the Gathering. We only
no,
count
for
when you start.
toys, yeah, for toys, I'd say 96. And Power of the Force, like I said, when I saw the Millennium Falcon brand new in the box, I'm like, I gotta have this. And back then it was $50, and $50, that was like, I'm not kidding, that was like a week and a half's worth of groceries for me at the time. So I had to find and scrounge some way to get it. But yeah, that's what pulled me back.
So you've been nonstop since then? Like you've
In
been
some
collecting...
capacity, correct. Yeah, I haven't, and we'll talk a little bit about it. I think because I think this is a pretty interesting topic. A few pivotal points for me personally, but I don't have all that stuff still. But I've been collecting something in some capacity, toy related or collectible relating, since then. So.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So, JD, how many years, buddy?
Well, I was probably 14 when I
50 years. Holy
yeah, dude, just about. No, it's like 26 years.
Okay.
Almost.
Wow.
Somewhere in there. I mean, I kind of went back and when I got to a certain age and I had money, I was working like summer jobs and shit like that. I was like, "Hey, Mom, where's all my old toys?" She's like, "Oh, I threw all that shit out, or I gave it to Goodwill." And I'm like, "No!"
And we never saw JD's mom again.
Oh, shit.
But from there, I started rebuilding, like G1 and G.I. Joe and, a lot of the stuff that I had as a kid, some of the mask stuff, whatever I could find at like flea markets, I started purchasing again.
Gotcha.
And then I got into like the McFarlane toys and,
Oh, yeah.
from the first series all the way to like Series 40, I had like pretty much everything and all the repaints that they did.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I was just asking about the years, not what were you collecting, but that's okay.
Yes. Yes.
No problem, JD. I had to do it to somebody. Thank God I wasn't Jordan. So let's go to Brian. Brian, what's going on? How many years? Right. Brian? 50 years? Come on, you're a grandpa.
No. I'm going to be modest and say that it was 2012 was when I really got back into it again.
Okay.
I've actually been collecting primes ever since 2000, meaning I discovered eBay and stuff like that, and I was going back and just buying primes every year. But dude, it's nothing compared to what's fucking surrounding me now in 2012 and Hercules is.
You definitely need to go. You definitely need some help.
Yep, for sure.
I gotta say, Brian, it's really been interesting watching your displays change over the past, I guess now 4 months.
Yep.
And just how you've been working with this different stuff and just seeing all the different stuff pop up back there.
Yep. Yeah, there was. Dude, I didn't realize how much stuff there was. Yep. And I mean, I don't know what, I just can't find my words at the moment, but it's really crazy. It's kind of taking my breath away, like how much stuff there actually was. But
and I have a question, Brian.
All right.
I remember, you, me, and Dom, we did something one crazy night. We decided to jump into the world of Sideshow Hot Toys. And, what are you gonna do when that purchase comes to fruition and you have it in front of you?
You gotta put in another room, Brian. Another room.
Are you gonna be able to just keep that one, or
Detolf it up and put in another room and get some details? Come on.
So one of the nice things about finally putting up shelves for me was it's I want to say it's curbed this collection addiction, and it sort of has, but not really. I've kind of just expanded into other areas. Like, why do I have 6 fucking figures from Pacific Rim all of a sudden? But, there's but it's helped me. I always had a vision in my head, and some of it has come to fruition. Some of it I just toss the fuck out and be like, all right, this isn't going to work. So I'm going to display these in different ways. It's all about grouping things together for me.
And I think what was it yesterday you mentioned, Brian? You said on the podcast that you might not be picking up the Bruticus because you just don't have the room, right?
Yesterday, yeah. So,
so I think it's affecting you.
Exactly, because immediately I would have been all in for all master stuff, whatever. Couldn't get enough of it, blah blah blah. And now I find myself like, I'm not even going to complete season 2 because I'm not really going after Bruticus or Defensor. Things like that. So, and I've really found I've discovered, what my love was, even if I was ignoring it, was really just when it comes to Transformers. I like cars to transform into robots. I mean, And so that's the main thing. Like the Subcons I rarely look at. I do love the Dinobots and stuff like that. But so I may be in when for a good Menasor. But other than that, it's like, I don't feel like having to be a completist for that. And as for those hot toys, Dave, to answer your question, no, I've got a shelf reserved. I have some shelves over here that I'm gonna put for like very,
high end
type of things. So like the SOC Voltron's over there now. I got to move the 6-inch Avengers stuff out of there.
Is that right by the door? That shelf?
It is.
Cool.
So,
I can just grab and snatch and walk away.
Yeah. And
so Brian,
Go ahead.
I just had a question. So, and you guys can kind of chime in real quickly, but what's high end? Because I think sometimes we associate that with evolving. No, is it
the guy who has the Hulkbuster hot toys is talking about high end?
But is it like
he walked with his nose right into that conversation? Right up,
man.
With pinky in the air.
I gotta buy a second one now because there's a 2.0 from the new movie. I gotta flank my TV. I'm really screwed. Yeah. No, but is high end simply cost, Brian? Or is it like rarity to you, or is it scarcity?
I'm having trouble finding my words all of a sudden, but I think I need Jose here to keep me level. But no, so Dom shouted that out, right? So what do you say? What did we say? High end. But what I was more or less referring to is, things that I have that I would consider like a museum piece, right? So, like I consider that Voltron a museum piece. I've got 2 hot toys coming, and there will be no others. I'm getting a Vader, and I'm getting a Mythos Obi-Wan. Yeah. So Obi-Wan's my favorite character, and Vader just a big, friggin' imposing, scary dude with like the most detail that you can possibly get. In a good size, I think would be good. And then other things that you might not consider a museum piece for me, but I've got this weird Diagem Japanese Transformer robot toy thing that Paul C got me, and I got one that's Mitten Box too. I want to make that something because that was something really special to me in my childhood. And I'm trying to figure. I had something else I wanted to put over there, but it's not coming to mind at the moment, which is really odd.
What about your Diaclone stuff?
No, that's too big. I'm going to use a big space behind me to have it all sprawled out. But yeah, those are the types of stuff I want to put over there on that shelf.
Sounds like you need to knock down a wall.
Yeah, I'm going to need a reason to spin this chair around, so that's why I'm putting that stuff over there. Maybe like the MAS Prime or something like that. We'll see.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, so Dave, are you going to ask me how many years I've been collecting?
Sure, I'll ask you since you're asking me already. Won't you just tell us, Don?
Oh, cool. I've been now collecting 20 years. 20 years, Dave. 20 years. So, yeah,
20 years started nonstop collecting.
Yeah, nonstop collecting, man. No breaks between there. So just grabbing up like Brian. I started on eBay, so just wanted to collect something, and I chose Transformers first because I felt that was more achievable in completing a collection.
So I got a question for y'all because eBay came up a lot. What was the first purchase, like toy purchase, that made you like go to eBay? If you can remember.
I haven't really bought much from eBay.
My first purchase was an Optimus Prime. Yeah. I was looking for a G1 Optimus Prime, and that's what I first purchased off of eBay in regards to toys.
Yeah, my first search was I remember I was at work and someone mentioned something about eBay. I'm like, what's eBay? And they're like, it's this thing. And I'm like, it is? So I pull up the webpage and it's like, search. I'm like, search for what? Like fucking Optimus Prime I'm going to search for. And all this shit came back, and and I found like things like Machine Wars and the Laser Prime, which, believe it or not, I may have seen when I was in high school. I can't remember. But the first toy that I purchased, I don't remember, but I do remember that the first thing that I purchased off of there was somebody had ripped all of the G1 Transformers cartoon episodes into like real media and put them on CD-ROM. That was the first thing I bought from eBay, believe it or not.
Wow.
And because I don't think I'd ever seen them released as a DVD set back in '99 or whatever the hell it was.
No.
And, the seller's name was Cheetor 13. I do remember that. Yeah.
Hey, that's my handle back in the day.
Oh, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Real Media. Do you guys remember that?
I remember it.
Yeah.
I remember it, man. That was like one of the first that actually you could get some decent streaming off of 56K.
Yep.
Anybody else wants to share your first eBay purchase?
So, like when I was collecting, I was kind of doing brick and mortar stores for a really, really long time, and then I found a few online actual stores. But actually, the first toy that I bought was Quake Wave, as far as an actual eBay purchase. And oddly enough, this isn't trying to do a plug because obviously he's part of the sponsor, but I got it from Agabus's site because it just seemed like it was the most reputable for something I wasn't really sure what it was. That was kind of my first third party purchase. It was the first expensive toy I bought. I kind of remember it being between him and like Masterpiece Soundwave at that time. I think that was like 2012, right?
Something
Maybe
like that.
2013,
About that.
around there. But that was probably like the first actual toy that I actually bought on eBay.
Cool.
And I remember mine, and it was an interesting one because I'd mentioned Beast Wars. I used to go on the site BWTF all the time. It's headed up by Ben Yee. Ben's a cool dude. He's in some of the communities. Shout out to him. He was actually a consultant on Beast Wars. He was he did like a lot of the mythos and was like their resident G1 expert. But he introduced me to like Beast Wars Neo stuff. And the moment I saw Big Convoy, and that was the first Optimus Prime alike that had a removable matrix, I knew I needed it. And I still remember to this day going to winning that auction on eBay. It was like, it ended up being like $60 something. And then walking up to 7-Eleven and buying that money order and mailing it off, and then just like waiting a month. Like waiting a little bit more than a month, maybe like a month and a half. And then when that package showed up, I don't think I was ever so excited to open a package, and that was just it. That was the start of all this.
Yeah.
Fucking money.
Shout out to money orders, man. Back in the day,
Oh
eBay.
yeah.
Fucking crazy shit. Dave, what about your first eBay purchase, buddy?
I don't know which one it was, but it was definitely either Star Wars vintage. Like I started getting into the vintage stuff. Mainly Ewoks. You guys know I have an Ewok thing.
You're similar height.
Exactly. I felt a connection. I look in the mirror. That's what I see. I just see Carrie.
Me too.
Ewok in the mirror.
So anyway, most of my Masterpiece collection too was from eBay. I just went like eBay crazy at the beginning because I wanted to like catch up.
Yeah.
And I would say probably my first 5, 6, maybe even 10 Masterpiece figures all came from eBay.
Now,
until I finally
overseas sellers or like local? It
was both. I was like bidding. Yeah. Like at one point I bid on like multiple primes. I had 2 primes, sold it back. Like I just wanted it all. So you basically Soundwave. I think I got my Soundwave through eBay as well. So then you find out about groups like this, and you find out about more about the hobby.
Mm-hmm.
BBTS and fucking TF Source. Once I found out about them, that's where I went. And then since then, here we are today. Now we don't pay. Now we don't pay retail no more.
No, not anymore. Hey JD, I didn't forget you. How did you pop your cherry? Your eBay cherry?
I really didn't buy much from eBay, but like the first couple things I bought were like some of the Transformers Generation Universe. The Universe figures.
Oh, the Universe waves, yeah.
Yeah. So
some of the Chug stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Stuff that I missed out on. So I just went back and bought that. That was like the first stuff that I ever bought from eBay. But I really don't like a lot of my purchases were always brick and mortar, dirt malls, flea markets. There was a lot more, back then there was so much more like retail space.
Gotcha.
There was like Hills and Ames and all kinds of shit.
Man. Did you have James Way out your way?
Yep. James Way.
Yeah.
James Way.
Bradley's.
Bradley's, yeah.
Caldor.
Wow, I haven't heard that in a while.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, just to get back on topic here.
There you go.
Gary mentioned something. He said that what in regards to evolution, evolution in regards to your collecting habits. What are some key points in time that you felt that your collection took a change or kind of materialized into something more than what you expected it to be? So let's go from that. I know Gary said he had like 2 or 3. Don't give me a library book, Gary.
No,
but pick one.
So no, I'm going to pick one. Thanks, Don. I'll follow the rules. I think anyone who knows me knows that I tend to recycle. Right, I've said that in the show before. I've said it individually. I like to try different things. I like the experience. I like the hunt. The pivotal moment comes back to Quake Wave. So I had that version 1 Quake Wave. I think I bought it for $149, and that was a lot of money to me, at the time, for a toy, right? That didn't really even know third party.
At least when it was like $800.
Well, here's the thing, Brian.
You sold it for $800, didn't you?
I sold it for $500 after I had it open on a bookcase, on display for like a year.
And you enjoyed
exactly.
it. Yep.
So I enjoyed it. I saw what it was going for. So again, that was like one of the first times where I realized, okay, if I play this right, some of this, I guess it was a pivotal point for me in collecting that everything has a price sooner or later, and that there's something else that maybe I would like to get different. That if I have an opportunity, I'll take advantage of it. So I actually, funny enough, sold that Quake Wave to buy a Hot Toys 89 Batmobile. And that was when you could still find them, at online stores. And I think that was like $600 at the time. So mentally, that's when the art of the flip, so to speak, collecting started to become part of my journey of, selling something to fund money to get something different and enjoy that next item, I guess. And I think that was when it became, I didn't feel the need to hold on to a lot of volume to enjoy the collecting for myself. So that was definitely a big moment.
So you don't have a completionist aspect?
Never. Nope.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not at all.
God bless you, bro. You like that, man.
Let's see. I mean, look, I have one Dinobot, I don't know. I'm okay with it. Like I can do one character from this, one character from that, and kind of cherry pick, what I like. So yeah, I don't feel that compulsion to get, whole teams or. Yeah. Yep.
I wish I could be like that, Gary. I can't.
Really unique.
I can't. I'm the total opposite of you. I think that's why we click.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yo, sometimes I'm like, damn, do I even tell Gary what I bought, or is he gonna fucking get on me, right? Like, like he did last week. He's like,
Okay.
Bought a fucking a toy of mini basketball shorts. Now I'm looking at Jordan and I'm second guessing him. Like, I love Jordan, man. Like, I bought you because I love you, and then. But yeah, Gary's not right. Fuck Gary.
Yeah, I'm just.
But then I showed you Jordan with the motorcycle and the 2 swords.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah.
So I'll share real quick. I think in my I kind of went I started collecting sealed G1 figures. That was what I started doing. I wanted to go back and collect all the G1 sealed figures when I started back in early. I say late 90s. I was about 97, 98. I started collecting, and I decided to just go for sealed G1 figures. And at the time, I was using eBay. That's the only way I could get those figures. And I would say a changing point in my collecting was that after the movie came out, a lot of those sealed G1 figures skyrocketed. The price was way crazy. And at the time, what you pay now for about one of these combiner masterpiece figures is what I was buying back in for sealed G1 figures. Like, $600 was probably the most I ever paid for a sealed figure when I was collecting back then. So now when that movie came out and prices started doubling and tripling, I just kind of took a step back. And I focused more of my collection to G1, masterpiece figures. So that was kind of a turning point in my collecting, because I was always focused on just getting a sealed set, and buying some of those Encore figures to have them loose, and just basically have a sealed set of 84, 85 figures, and then basically have them loose through the Encore series.
Hey, Dom, not to cut you off, but how far did you get? Like I
got the whole 84, 85 sealed.
Holy shit!
And some 86. I kind of gave up on the 86 because, as you all know, in 86, all the the only two gift sets that came out in 84, 85 was Devastator and the Superion set. Once you get into 86, they have the Menasor, the Defensor, the Predaking, and some of those gift sets didn't even come out in America. You had to get it out overseas in Europe and stuff like that. So
is that where the term 86 comes from?
Yeah, exactly. So it was like I said, I that was my vision at first when I started collecting, and then I kind of once the movie came out and the prices started skyrocketing, I just kind of took a back seat in picking up those figures, because I wanted to get some of those 86 figures that I didn't get. The only 85 figure I didn't pick up was Omega Supreme.
So Dom, I have a question, and I want to hear from everybody else. So I want to come back to it. I just don't want to forget before my time. But where are all those figures now?
They're in my house.
Okay, like where in your house?
Shout out to Tote Life.
They're in storage.
Storage. Okay, no, I'm just curious. No, that's fine. I want to come back to that once I hear from everybody else. Kind of like some pivotal moments. Because I have a legit question for perspective for the group, I think so.
Well, they like I said, like a lot of my collecting habits and displaying changed over time as well. So like I at the time when I didn't have a significant other, I was able to display certain of my figures. Those were in display, but eventually you have to compromise.
Dude, you're jumping ahead. You're jumping ahead to the question.
Okay.
I haven't answered it yet.
But that's one of my big turning points. Then I got into mostly Masterpiece figures and started collecting Masterpiece third party and stuff like that. So I kept it into the monetary set that I can handle, and third party was in that level. So I started picking up those figures and stuff like that. So that's me. So let's go on to the next one. Hey, let's see who hasn't answered.
I didn't answer yet.
JD, what's going on, buddy?
Not much. How you doing?
What was one of your points in time?
I like the perspective of JD's camera with like the Dewback, Sand Trooper, like right there, like.
He's ultra special.
Look, sir, JD.
Uh-huh.
What was a pivotal time in your collecting habits that changed?
Boy, I mean, at first I started out and I just kind of was catching up on everything that my parents had gotten rid of that I grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, whatever I could find is what I bought. You know what I mean? If some guy had like 8 kickbacks, I bought all 8 of them, and then I made a nice one. I took them apart and salvaged them or whatever. But I would say, like, once the Power of the Force came out, because I'm a fucking Star Wars nut. I love fucking Star Wars. Once Power of the Force came out, every time I found a Stormtrooper, every time I found an ATST, every time I found an A-Wing, for the 3 3/4 inch figures, I bought whatever I could. I made sure when that stuff was out, I had my own apartment. I lived with 2 other dudes. We split the rent, and then me and the other guy we would just, on our days off, we'd go out and just blow all our money on Star Wars toys. So we had a huge collection of stuff in our apartment, and I think that kind of stuck, like once the Black Series came out, Masterpiece, Transformers, and those were like wow, these are what I remember. They're just so much better than all that old stuff that I used to play with, and that, I think those were very pivotal moments.
I think you were not the only one in that boat. I think when Power of the Force came out, everyone was just grabbing as much as they possibly could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, back then I wasn't so much a sealed collector.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there was like the whole original line, like everything that came out that first year, I did have sealed. They did like the Bomar Monk mail away, like any of the mail aways they did. I always got like 3 of them.
Wow.
JD,
You know what I mean?
Some things don't change.
I still have a sealed Fruit Loops Han and Stormtrooper gear.
Yes.
in that little white box.
Yes.
They did awesome. Han right for Fruit Loops, and they did the clear Obi-Wan from Lay's potato chips. I remember.
Yep.
That first year. Yep.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Gary used to eat Fruit Loops. That's nuts.
Yeah.
A lot of sugar in there, Gary. A lot of sugar.
Yeah, a lot of sugar.
Awesome.
Yeah, all right. But from there, it just, I would say the toys evolved, and I evolved with them.
Cool.
But like my habits never really changed. I'm still troop building, and
well, that's another topic for another day. I like to talk about seal collecting because it's like, I know a lot of people in the community, collect sealed stuff and keep one sealed, one loose, do all that good stuff. And
sure,
it's a good topic to talk about. Yeah.
Cool. Fuck me. No, go ahead. It's a good topic.
It's a good topic.
You're the boss.
I'm the host. I'm the captain now. Look at
I like this.
Now I gotta Photoshop Dom as Tony Danza. Shit.
Yes, please do that. I'm the boss.
Yeah.
So Dave, tell me, where was your point in time that your collection changed or evolved, and you said, what the fuck am I doing?
Am I answering this is the new question or the question?
No. This the first question. I'm just trying to change it up. I'm sorry if it sounded like a different question. Is he okay? Oh, he dropped out.
Keeps dropping out.
Okay. Dave needs to go buy a new headset. Let's move on to Jordan. Jordan, what's going on, buddy?
How's it going, man? So yeah, a lot of you that know me know I never really stopped collecting Transformers in my lifetime. It was like from being a kid, little kid. Yeah, it was like, I was born in '85, so I got a lot of hand-me-downs of G1 and got to watch the reruns. And there was still G1 stuff on the shelf when I was 3-4 years old.
The good old days.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In fact, I still remember going and picking out Power Master Prime off the shelf in Toys R Us, my grandfather. And then I got to go through G2, and I got the excitement of getting characters that I couldn't get when I was a kid, and they were different colors, and back then that didn't bother me, and they were going to like the rad 90s colors. But I had all these good childhood memories, and just as I was about to get out of it, Beast Wars hit, and I was fascinated by CG. I wanted to be a graphic artist, so like CG fascinated me and just sucked me back into Transformers. I went after like G2, I started collecting X-Men and Spawn and that sort of stuff. So I never stopped collecting toys, but I never was like a completionist or like a hardcore collector. I'd see like I like this Wolverine, I like this Carnage, I like this Sabretooth, and get those. And they were just kind of like, one-offs. Beast Wars comes along, that changes everything. And I got to have that whole show cast. Like, I would say really it was like the Transmetals. So like 97, when those things dropped, I was like, holy shit. So, I rode that for a while, and then Beast Machines happened. I started losing interest a bit, but then I got sucked into like the Japanese stuff. And just as I started, losing interest in that, we got alternators. So like JD said, the collection was growing with me. Just as I was about to get out, something would get introduced that would just suck me back in. And between alternators and MPO1, those were like really pivotal moments for me, because it was like, wow, Transformers are growing up with me. This is like the engineering I dreamed about when I was a kid, stuff I thought was impossible. And even to this day, there's a lot of stuff that comes out on the third-party front, like MP.16. Would have never thought, we'd get a Megatron like that. So, yeah.
Cool, dude, when Vinyl Tech made that purple Mazda Speed RX-8 as Shockwave, I thought that was like the epitome of, like when I had that thing, I thought that was just, it couldn't get any better to be than that. Diecast, real life car, tuner style, Japanese, Mazda Speed version in purple with a single Shockwave eye, and one fist and one gun in robot mode. I'm like, I'm done.
What's funny about that, Gary, is that when the 2005 Mustangs came out, That was like my dream
Yeah,
car,
the
and I got
Grimlock,
one.
right? Yeah.
And anybody that knows
Grimlock,
me,
yeah.
Grimlock is my second favorite G1
that's
character,
awesome.
right behind Prime. So I still have that Grimlock.
Yeah, and a lot of people think that like alternators was like that the first masterpiece or like that type of level that
That's
got
what I thought.
people into it. So I remember walking to toy stores and just seeing the Cybertron toys and all the toys that just were meant for kids, and then all of a sudden you see alternators out there, and there was always for an older collector like myself, I was always wanting to pick those up because they look so cool.
Yeah, I never went on them either, but I always thought they were a fantastic idea.
And I miss that. Like even talking about that particular figure right now, like hearing Jordan say, like the 05 Mustang, I think, evolving, I'm fucking chasing that high like a junkie, like all the time still. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, I miss that feeling when it was a lot easier to find that joy maybe in the collecting than it is. It's not as easy, I guess. I find it nowadays to do that.
Gary, can I ask you something about that real quick? Sorry.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
When you say you miss it, do you mean you miss finding that on the shelf and rather than having to go online?
No, I mean, I do. I think we've talked a lot about that. The surprise of brick and mortar shopping and not knowing every time something's coming out, and walking in and seeing something new. But no, I miss the sheer, like, stuff gets me excited still, but it's far more fleeting than it used to be. Meaning that I think I enjoy it. I try to make sure I space out purchases. But that feeling is what's driven some of the evolutions for me in exploring different lines. Because at the end of the day, I'm chasing that feeling. And what's been odd is I found it like in very expensive Hot Toys stuff, and then I just found it in a $60 Star Wars toy for the first time in probably 2 years.
Shout out to Dupex.
Yeah, and then I found it in an $8 toy that Dom got me last summer. That Rebels Grand Admiral Thrawn, I've never fucking found that guy anywhere in the wild. And it's a simple 5-point of articulation figure, but the fact that he found it, it was new to me in the ROC, and there's a lot that went with it. But anyway, that feeling is what's forced me, I think, to kind of change perspectives and different lines and try some different stuff, because that's ultimately, I think, like I said, I'm not trying to accumulate anything. I'm not trying to amass a finite finish line in my collection. I hear everyone say they finish their seasons or they finish this team or that team and they're done. I'm like, I don't see that in sight at all. I want that feeling. You know what I mean? That's all.
It's kind of like where I'm at now, like with this guy. I was talking about the Generation Toy Gorilla. It's like I've kind of had my fill, and I'm nowhere near done Masterpiece. Like, I love Masterpiece, and I'll continue to complete that. But I like the crazy one-offs. I think that's why I've been like going towards some of the movie stuff and some of these high concept figures, because they surprise me. Well,
speaking of one-offs, Dave, what's going on? You're back.
What's up? It's back. Yeah.
Share me a story, Dave. Share me a story. What was your breaking point in your time where your collecting changed or habits changed or evolved to the point where you said you recognize it in your collecting patterns?
I mean, I'm gonna take it in a different direction than you guys. I'm looking at it more like I started, I would say, buying more what I wanted when I realized I had the space for it. And I mean, we all know to this day I don't have anything on display yet, but I do have the space to fucking stock it. And before that, it was hindering me. So I didn't buy what I wanted because I might have had the funds to do it, but I just didn't have the space. I was moving from being married once back home, living in my parents' basement. My parents' doorbell was ringing every other week. And what's that? Another toy? You're buying toy? Whatever. We're going to go into that. But when I got married and I got a house in 2014, I said, you know what? I'm going to take it to the next level. And I think that's when I started really getting into the third party, getting into just Transformers, because Transformers is my first love. And since then, Star Wars, I felt that the figures were getting better. The Figuarts I fell in love with, and now look at me now. I'm fucking buying Hot Toys left and right, like they're going out of style. But it's again because, like Gary said, he has that high, like that high. I'm like a junkie, an addict, like so to speak. It's not enough. Like it's yeah, exactly. It's like
we'll make this more appropriate.
Everything I do get, it stays in a box. It's in a box now, right? But I open it all. I play with it all. I make sure that the figure's what I paid for. I don't just buy something, stick it in the corner, and forget about it. I try to enjoy it once in a while, take a picture of it. And now for me, I think on a grand evolution scale, I'm finally looking at things a little differently and saying I'm not gonna buy everything, but I'd rather spend the money on something more significant. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather spend the money on one figure for $250. It's gonna make me happy as opposed to just buying 11 of them just to keep that high going. So hopefully that trend continues, and I'll have less brown boxes being delivered and just more time to enjoy things. So
that's lame.
You touched a great topic too, Dave, because I'm in that same ballpark with regards to not displaying my stuff. I used to, but then I put them all away, and now I want to get back there and display some of my collection. And Brian made that achievement last year, and he's at that point. And I think once you get to that point and you're looking at your collection and the space that's in it, you kind of start to have that discussion with yourself and say, do I really need to buy this next figure? Do I have the room for it? What am I going to do with it? So when you get into that habit of just buying stuff and putting, taking it out, playing with it, and putting it away, you tend to forget or have those discussions because you don't have a physical room to put it in, and you're like stacking up that room to the point where you're like, oh, I can't. I can't.
Dude, you forget. You just forget what you have sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, let me ask the panel a question, because I think did everybody go down about?
Yep. Everyone.
Okay. Gary, so segue to the question you wanted to ask us all.
It is actually, and it's maybe a little sensitive. Look, and we're all very good friends here, but when you're buying something and putting it aside? Are you really collecting, or are you shopping and hoarding stuff? Is it still considered collecting when you don't have things out on display?
Well, it's collecting.
Or are you just amassing?
All right. So I'm essentially amassing something that I do have a bigger vision for.
Correct.
So I'm not going to sit here and not buy something when I know I have the space for it and I may not essentially have it out yet. I'm not going to wait and then buy it all 3 years from now when everything is triple the price, when I know I love it now. And again, when I get something, I enjoy it. I take pictures of them. I fucking play around with them, talk about them with you guys. So it's not so much that I just get it, look at it. It's, oh, look, it's the box of what I ordered. And I put it in the corner and say, one day I'm going to take you out. I do go through that stuff from time to time and I play with them like a little kid, pose them, and I fucking, I enjoy that. And my rebuttal to what you said is you like to recycle. So
yes.
You collect things, but then you don't want them anymore, and then you get new things. So it's like,
but everything I've purchased, no, and that's a good point. No, because and I mean, go ahead, I totally cut you off. It's terrible.
But it's nothing against that. I'm not saying Gary, what you do is fine. It's what you said before. You're not a completionist. Like I have that in my head that I have to have the majority of something for it to look right.
Before you go, Gary, but I think what Dave is trying to say. Granted, you're pitching the point where is it collecting when you're just buying something and putting it away and not displaying it? Is that collecting? And I think Dave is saying, well, is it also collecting if you buy something, look at it, and then flip it real quick and buy something else? Is that collecting?
Yeah. I think they're both good questions. I guess I'll just say so. And JD, I'm going to use you as an example with your skills, right? Your customizing and your dioramas. look, I'm a big believer. Yeah, right. I may have the largest collection, but everything I own is out. It's visible. It's in a point where I can see it. I can enjoy it. I can rearrange it. I can move it around. I can repose it. It's there, right, where I see it. And again, look, that's enjoyment to me. I guess I feel as if when you collect something, you give it respect in the way that you present it, right? How much money do people spend on shelving and shadow boxes and bookcases and stuff like that, right? And lighting to make their displays look, right? To give it respect, I guess, essentially, right? JD, I think when you build a diorama, you're giving that piece of plastic, right, the respect of the presentation of your time, your skill, your talent for that.
That's right.
So that's all. So I just, I thought it was a valid question to see, because I think sometimes it's easy to say that, I collect something, but the shopping part of it, and maybe that's what I like sometimes more than, the holding on to the items. I don't know.
So Gary, Don, did you have something?
No. I'm in the same boat with Dave. Like I collect. Sometimes I open them and play with them. Sometimes, I'll be honest. Sometimes I don't.
Is that boat afloat, or is it tipped to one side?
It's shut the fuck up. It's my Canada side. Shut up.
So
go
ahead.
Sorry, but but I think what I'm doing is that I'm looking at an end goal. I want.
But when you
like
get
just
there,
like Brian,
when?
with Brian, I will get there. I eventually will.
Let the man talk.
In time. But I think with Brian, Brian did the same, was in the same boat as me and Dave, and he now is taking the time to decide which display cases he wants. It took time for him to do that, and I think it's going to take time for me to do that as well. And just and
Dom, everybody's you'll never be allowed to do that.
And exactly, because I got a significant other that I have to deal with. But the thing is that at the end of the day, I feel like once I get the room and once I have that available space for me to display my figures, I will take the time to see what display cases am I going to go with, what lighting am I going to go with, and also it's a challenge, because at that point you have to put that money out to get those items, like get that display case, get that lighting, and I really would love to instead of spending my money on that, to spend my money on toys, and that becomes a battle for me.
Dom, that's the truth of it too. I've had money put away since last year to get the room done upstairs, but then I'm not a handy guy. I can't do shit. I might be able to nail some fucking sheetrock to a wall, but then that's it. That's as far as it goes. Cutting it, I might cut it off center. It's not me. So when you don't have anybody to do that shit, and you got to pay somebody to do it,
I'm gonna
fucking
come
get that
help
money
you,
up.
I'll come
But
help you,
that's also a dilemma that I face, because sometimes I love to I would save up $1,000 and say, this is the money that I'm gonna use for buy display cases and stuff like that and lighting, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, that next figure came out, or I need to buy these, and I'm spending that $1,000 on toys, and then I'm like, when does it happen? But I'm sure I will pull the trigger. I'm sure I'm going to get there. But I always feel like there's an end state or an end goal that I'm seeking.
Dom, look at me. Let's get that shit done, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying.
Yeah, this is why Gary brought it up, because he wanted to fucking push us to fucking get it done. That's what he did. I know him. Motherfucker smiling back there.
Dude, once you guys get going, it's gonna change your life, man.
Listen, it's a constant. It's something that kind of rests on your shoulders sometimes, especially being in this community and talking to you guys, or even just seeing you guys with all that stuff behind you, and it's like, fuck man, what the fuck am I doing with all these fucking boxes and Tupperware and all this fucking shit? And again, it's more about help. I'm not crying for help, but I do have to pay somebody to do it, and it's going to cost me a pretty penny. And
I was serious. I'll come help you do it.
I've told them that too. I said free labor.
So if I may interject,
Please do, Jordan. Please do.
I just want to hop on a point that was made. I'll be real quick. Gary's question about whether you don't have stuff on display. Like, I do have things on display, but there's a lot that I don't have on display. I have a lot of SH Fig Arts, and all of those, I play with them. I pose them around like Dave was talking about, but then I have to kind of put them back in a box and put them aside, and I maybe have 1 or 2 out. I have basically my Soul Chigokin, my Figma Masterpiece stuff on display, but I'm also a chug collector, and all my chugs, they're kind of boxed up, any of the movie figures. But I wouldn't say that I'm not a collector because of those things, because they're in storage, like that Vader helmet, the Poe Dameron helmet, the Kylo Ren helmet, the lightsabers and stuff, all the Star Wars stuff I have. A lot of that's in storage. It's ready for me to get in my basement when I buy a house. And I don't want to belittle any of that and say I'm not a collector, just as though, you have people that collect sports memorabilia and they just put it away. There is paying that respect, but there's that line of whether or not you're a collector versus, there's no line between whether or not you're a collector. It's just, are you a collector? And then if so, how do you display,
Or are you hoarding?
I find it so funny because sometimes when I talk with Brian, I remember him talking last year before he put all his stuff up, he would buy things just to, that would go good with this, or that could go with this. And I do the same thing. Like I buy things to say, when I do get a chance to, when I do display my figures, I know this would go good with this.
Right.
And I was having that conversation with Dave and said, I'm buying this hot toy and this hot toy of Star Wars because I want to put those two together. I want to buy this one and this one because I want to put those two together. And that's like, I do definitely have an end goal and end state in mind that I just want to get there. And I know I might need a nudge here and there, but it's like, I could tell, like, it takes time and, it takes some effort to literally push yourself to get that stuff out of the boxes and put them up and buy the display cabinets and stuff like that.
Our pal Chat Wingham brought up a really good point in the chat. He said that museums don't have all of their collections on display at all times.
They rotate
that is a
them
good point.
They rotate their stock.
I like what you said, Jordan, because I posed a question about display versus put away, but maybe it's a pride in preservation, so to speak. Okay, so if you have things packed away neatly and securely for this ultimate goal, maybe there's a difference in that than if you just have stuff loosely thrown in a box. In that box, just somewhere else filling up with stuff, and you don't know where stuff is, or you don't know how it's prepared.
That's what happened to me. Like. Dude, I'm finding shit. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh yeah. I guess. I got parts strewn about various boxes. Like all my Transformers are up, but not all of them have their weapons. They're somewhere.
See, now, like I lived a very long time, like Dom, like Dave, like you did, Brian, Tote Life. I always had a toy room, but most of everything I had were still in those totes, Now that I have like this house and I'm able to like spread it out. I mean, I have 2 toy rooms. I really wish you guys could get the idea of like how much stuff I have accumulated over 26 years. It's pretty fucking ridiculous. But like both of the closets in both of these rooms, aside from everything that's displayed, I mean, I have a room on the 3rd floor. I have all the stuff that I came back with from NJCC. That's all sitting down in my living room because I don't use my living room right now. And I mean, it's just a lot of stuff, and it's not displayed. And I don't know. I guess my point is that I just need to sell it. I need to be to get rid of it.
All I heard was 3rd floor. And I'm like, what? You have a 3rd floor?
Yeah. Yep, I have a 3rd floor.
So I know the answer to this, Dom, if I asked you this question, because I know the answer is going to be yes, but I'll ask JD, are there toys in the back of your truck right now, this very moment?
No, there aren't. No. Okay. They're all in the house.
Do you want to know which toys are in the back of my truck?
I know that. Look, Dom, if you have to hit the brakes, a case of Marvel Legends comes out from under your front seat, I think. And yeah.
I'm not saying that's not true.
I mean, now I kind of feel left out, but I'm gonna have to put some toys in my truck.
No, but I just think it's interesting to see, Brian, because like you mentioned you had stuff packed away, but I think as you were putting up your display, look, it's been really cool over the last couple months for us to see it. But even as you were doing the very many podcasts that you share your time on, you were doing different perspectives, and kind of changing what the view looked like and able to show different things. And your shelves look like they're always in constant motion now, and you're adjusting stuff. And again, to me, that I think there's a pride piece being presented in the collecting part. And look at the ROC. We do two things, right? We do shelf life, show us your collection, and we do what's in the fucking box. Like, what did you just get? Right? I don't know. It's just interesting. As just different ranges of the collecting, I guess.
Yeah, and Dave and Dom, speaking from experience, we have a friend of ours who is setting up a collection room, and I would imagine eventually he's going to need our help, and that's the Ace Milo. So I would imagine that event is not too far off in the future, but I'd love for you guys to come and help him put that stuff up, because it'll be an experience for you. Because I tell you, man, you can idealize what these shelves are going to be and how much room is on them, but when you start putting those toys up, you're like, holy crap! Omega, it really is very, very big.
and that's a fear.
That's like go ahead. I don't know. It's like watching a blowjob and not getting one. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same. It's not going to be the same.
Dave, you can go in the corner and play with yourself.
I was going to say, Dave, on the shirt, you got 2 free hands at that point.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I think it'll help get you an idea of, all right, it's time to move forward, right?
Yeah.
To evolve.
Exactly.
Hey, get it.
Exactly. I think I like that would be a good kind of icebreaker for me in regards to seeing that or being a part of that. But I feel I fear that, Brian, so many times, because when I'm going to start opening up these boxes and putting them in, I know I'm not going to have the room for them, and it's just going to be I know there's a part of you where you're like, fuck, I want to put this up, but where the fuck do I put it up?
Yeah.
So.
And Dom, are you like me, where you're kind of worried about you see other people's displays and you're like, I don't want to just put it up to put it up. I want to do it.
I want to do it nice and
nice,
right. Yeah, I have that. I want to display it the way I vision it, and sometimes that doesn't happen. I work. Sometimes when you have a goal in mind and you think it's gonna be beautiful and pretty, and then all of a sudden when you start putting it together, there's some challenges there. So it's definitely a fear for me. Yeah, exactly.
Or a new haircut.
But I want to put this out to the group here in regards to your collecting and habits. Maybe this probably will finish off before we get to close out. But do you guys feel that when we all feel about that, we talk about that that addiction or that feeling that you get, is it when you buy a figure, or is it when you open up a figure?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
I think it's more so buying it, because you got it. It's coming to you, know? But, some figures would surprise you, though. You do open it, and you're like, holy shit, I can't believe I have this. This is great. Yeah.
And for me, I'll throw another one. Is it buying it, or finding it, buying it? Put the buying it part of this. Is it buying and finding? Finding it and buying it, or opening up that figure? Because the buying and finding is kind of the same kind of aspect. But
for me, that's 2 different rushes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I actually found it on the shelf. Oh my God. And then I get home and I get to open it up and I get to add it to my diorama or add it to the shelves or whatever the case is. I get to sit there and mess with it, and I'm like, oh my God, I love this character.
It's a good perspective, yeah.
Yeah, that is stressful. I like that answer. I'm going to steal it because it's because of a simple find. I think brick and mortar will put me in a good mood for the rest of the day. And then when I do get a chance to open it, it's kind of like enjoying it in a different way. So I can agree with you there.
I think for me, some of the things with opening was, obviously with the Masterpiece Transformers, even some of the Chug stuff was, it's like, wow, I finally have this character, and Like some of this stuff is just amazing to look at and handle. And lately with me completing almost the Masterpiece collection that I want, it's like, I don't really get that much anymore unless I get a figure arts like Star Wars type of thing, right? I mean, I'm going hard on the MCU stuff, but it's not a nostalgia thing. It's just I'm really proud of what Marvel's fucking done with their MCU, and it's like I really like all the characters and what they've done for that fiction. But dude, and until Thundercats comes, I'm not gonna get that mainline nostalgia feel when I open a package. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't think anymore. So maybe a Car Voltron if does one of those.
What about you, Jordan?
So for me, it's a lot when I open the figure that I get that feeling. Like when you're tearing down the box. I mean, obviously, like for me, it kind of goes back to like being a kid, and that was the most exciting part is not only knowing you were going home with the figure, but that anticipation of ripping open the box, that hand feel, that new toy smell. That's like where I get a lot of that joy. Especially with stuff I've had to wait for in the mail. A figure that I a lot of times now I get figures before they're even reviewed. Which that's another thing that's kind of evolved about my collecting habits. Like, when I got that Generation Toy Gorilla, there weren't any reviews up, and it's really cool to get that experience, that unknown, and that's where I get a lot of the highs from like kind of like beating people to the punch. One point I want to make real quick is that I think because there is so much information available, we have groups where people are posting pictures, we have people posting videos, we're watching the videos, we're absorbed. It's almost like the sense of discovery with some of the stuff that we collect is kind of taken away from it before we even get a chance to get our hands on it.
True. Anyone else wants to share?
Someone else share, because I forgot to type this shit in.
I'll share. Like I agree. I agree with JD. There's a level of a different feeling between both, but I think with me, it's more of the feeling of the find and the buy. Like I don't know whether just call me it's a hunter type of feeling. Like I like going out, finding it and buying it and grabbing it, and then of course I get a different feel, and when I open it, play with it, enjoy it. But like I guess it's just the hunter in me, in regards to finding that item that I know I want to pick up. I know I want it, and I find it and I buy it, and it just keeps me going in regards to toy hunts that I do and stuff like that. It's just that's kind of, I feel like I'm more addictive that way in regards to my collecting habits, because I love to go out and hunt and find something at a brick and mortar store and something that I've been looking for, and buy it up and then go bring it back home and enjoy it. But it's just I feel like there are two different feelings, but like the feeling that I get that I probably strive on more is the finding and the buying part of the collecting aspect. So
do you get just as satisfied when you pre-order something it's coming to you?
Not so much. Like I rather find it at stores. Like I enjoy going out, seeing it on the shelf, finding it, grabbing it, and it's going to be sad because that's going to be ancient history. It's just not going to be like that.
I don't think so. I don't think it will.
I hope so. I hope not, because I enjoy going out, and driving around, hitting up some stores, and finding, like when I found the studio wave from Transformers. Like I was looking for a blackout, and I hit up 2 targets and I saw the Grimlock, didn't see the blackout, and I was like, fuck, I want to find that blackout. So like, the next day I hit up 2 other targets and I found it. And when I found it, I was like, yes, I got it. And then that was the feeling that I enjoyed. And when went to the cash register, paid for it, and went home, and obviously will enjoy it when I open it up. But the thing is that I strive on that a little bit more than any other feeling that I get in my collecting.
So I think, to kind of, this might go back to the last episode, like with the whole Toys R Us closing and everything. And you said about how going out and finding stuff might not be
an option
anymore.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I've seen people posting in. I mean, this is Star Wars stuff, but like people are posting in Star Wars groups. They're finding stuff at Office Max. Think Geek owns GameStop. Think Geek will be opening stores up where it is just straight what they sell on their site, all collectibles. GameStop will still be collecting their, they'll still be selling what they get in, from their warehouse and whatnot. But anyway, total sidetrack. But
no, you're right. It's a good point.
So like we're losing one. We who's to say how many we're gonna gain here? And it's rumored KB's coming back and all this other shit.
I think as we get more developments, an interesting topic would be the evolution of where we see retail in the next 5 10 years.
Absolutely.
But on that note, let's see. We got some activity in the chat. Brian, who do we have in there tonight?
Well, good topic. A lot of people sharing their experiences as their collections have evolved and their eBay experiences, so on and so forth. So we have Danny V in the chat winging them. We had a newcomer, someone who said he's been watching, but it's his first time catching a live show. That's Y Sarek. So welcome, sir.
Nice, welcome. Thanks, man. Appreciate
it. We have Josh F in the chat, and today is his birthday.
Happy birthday, dude!
Happy birthday,
man!
Good birthday.
We also have Retro Now in the chat, who also just had a birthday.
Happy birthday!
He just turned the big 4-0, and he's got a pretty cool video about it. So go check out his channel. Let's see. Dare 2727, Gabriel E, KJ Smith, Alex C, Rogor 71. We had Rexbot in here, Dust Mites, Jiraiya Sama 7, Ed F, Paul S. We had Rob M, Cromdor, T-Man 978. We had Chuck in here. What's up, Chuck? We had Jason the letter L, Primicon, Dapper Trayon, Knight of Ren, Lord Shadowkeeper. I did not miss him this week. Sorry about that this week, guy. We had Walter in here. Just one dropped in. Frogman 78.
Frogman.
Sportimus. We had Shocky reviews. Shocky has been new in the group, sharing some things, and it's the first time I think seeing him in the chat. Welcome, sir. Ralph L H, the True Star Screamer, Lucas B, Mr. Jason L, and the Intangible Cog.
Right on. So, Brian, Dom, you want to take us down some where you at?
Yeah, I'll take you down with where you at. Brian, where you at?
You can find me, Brian Brink, in the Facebook groups, and Brinklizer on Instagram, and the Angry Christian just dropped in here at the end.
Yeah.
He was hoping to win something. We're not giving nothing away today.
Next week, so we'll return.
Psych.
So now you could be angry, Christian.
I actually might have something really cool to give away next week. So stay tuned.
Where can we find you, Dave?
Oh, you could find me under your bed.
And
John Addict on Instagram, Dave Cologne in the Facebook group. Yeah, here on Tuesdays most of the time.
Jordan.
So you can find me in the Facebook groups as James Jordan. You can find me on Twitter at The Original Zero. Of course, you can find me on PlayStation Network and Xbox Live at Extra Zero. You'll be able to find me on PlayStation 4's God of War will be coming out this week. And last but not least, you can find me on Instagram, Extra008.
G-Money. What can we find you?
You find me occasionally GMoney1010 on Instagram. I'm trying to do more with that, but I usually don't. Gary Allen on the Facebook groups and here hanging out on Tuesdays.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. That too for me.
JD, my pal.
Dom.
Where can we find you and that nice trim beard of yours?
Yeah, you can find me trimming the shit out of it. Anybody?
Your local barbershop.
No, I did it myself. But yeah, you can find me avoiding social media. No, but you can find me JD Brochus in the Facebook groups. Pigment Surgery on Xbox Live and Instagram. Here with you guys every Tuesday. hopefully, and as long as I don't get fired. and yeah, whenever Figga Bang comes back, which will be Thursday, every other Thursday.
Every other Thursday.
Let's go, Ace. I miss you, guy. Come on. I want to make fun of some figures.
Yeah. Well, you can find me at Dominic
Where
Ross
you
on
at,
the
Dom?
Fish Groups. And thank you, JD. Thank you.
Sure.
About time somebody recognizes my beauty.
Hey Dom, I want to say
Dave.
thanks for hosting
Nothing
tonight.
about
You did a pretty good job.
Oh, thank you, Dave.
And
Thank
Extra
you.
Zero
Talking
was a
over
good
everybody.
backup. Jose,
Yeah,
we miss you.
Yeah.
Don't leave again. This was sorry.
And hopefully I can get us out of here as good as Jose does.
Yes, please do. But I'll try, Jordan. I'll try. I'll do some shout out. What do we want to do? Some shout outs to friends here. Shout outs for friends or figure photography crate on Instagram. We do tfprototype.com. Third party TF Crashers on Facebook and kumastyle.com. Retro Now is always watching. Good friend of the channel in the cool table. And TKO and Blackout and Shout. I don't know what those guys are. Whatever.
He read English very good.
Sorry. You can always find us on our website. What is our website, guys?
Realm of Collectors.com.
Oh, awesome. And we do have some merchandise available. What it is, I don't know, but I'm sure you can go onto the website. Yeah, shot glasses for those alcoholics. And I'm trying to make this fun. We always appreciate your love and your support. Join us on Facebook. We're these groups, Realm of Collectors, all like-minded individuals. Great fucking show.
Yeah.
Let's shout out some of those other cool table network channels. I'm gonna do a JISC. You know, we got Remo Collectors, that show that's hurting for some cast members.
It's called Enter the Realm.
Enter the Realm.
Enter the Realm.
Oh, sorry. Don't fucking yell. Don't yell. Jesus, motherfuckers, dude. Plastic Fanatics, the great show. Always watch it. Good information. Shattercast Uncut. Love those guys. Funny as shit. Watch that shit.
Watch that shit. That's right.
I watch it. I watch it on YouTube. I don't know. You can listen to it. I don't give a shit. Whatever you fucking do. I watch it. We got Nerd Rage Radio. That's what you have to listen to that. I'm sorry, you can't watch that. You got to listen to that one. Beers and Bolters, 40K. Stasis Lock. What's going on with my beasties? 8 weeks. Where the fuck is that show? And then Building Up to It, which is a Lego show with on what is it? Bricks channel. Right?
Bricks on the dollar.
Bricks on a dollar. Yep. And
Paul C. Congratulations, had a baby.
Yeah,
Paul C.
Congratulations.
Was it boy or girl?
Yo, just go finish this shit.
Okay.
And
Cool.
don't forget Toy Detox.
The girl.
Toy T-Tox.
Yeah.
I love Toy T.
Toy
Tyler. Toy T-Tox. And then fresh communications. Because communication's always fresh. Well, that's the show, guys. I'm Joy the host. Thank you, Jose, for giving me the opportunity. I just want to thank you. You better come back, motherfucker, because I don't want to do this shit. And thank you, Dave, for putting me out on the block.
You're very welcome.
That's the show, guys. Enjoy.
All right, peace out,
Love
y'all.
you.
Awesome. Have a great week, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
See you.